Welcome back. I am doing another full face, pretty much full face of testing new makeup. I had said this in my last video that I've hauled a lot of makeup and a lot of new releases, a lot of different brands that I haven't tried before. I have done 2 haul videos. I will link those up in the cards. And I have a ton of stuff that I haven't tried that I still need to test out. It's almost a full face today, with the exception that I have primed my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I did use the new Natasha Denona Hygiene Skin Glass. I had a tester that I've been working on, and I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna buy the full size of that because I thought it was really good. I have been quite enjoying that. And I did do my eyebrows with the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. Some of the stuff that I really want to test out are the new Kaleidos eyeshadow palettes that they released, the quads. I want to try on the limited edition Fenty Cream Blush Duo. I did pick this up. This is a new release. It's a lip melt from TONYMOLY, so I want to give that a shot. I did pick up the Clarins lip oil, the one that just won the Allure Best of Beauty for lip oils. So this is just my attempt at testing all of these out on camera of all the stuff that I've hauled. I have a ton of stuff over here, a lot of new releases, some holiday releases that I haven't even gotten to yet, and so I'm working through them. Let's jump right in. Let's go with the Jelly Lip Melt from TONYMOLY. So I think they came out with 3 new scents is what they were calling them, and this one was the candy cane one. And so this says it is a bouncy jelly texture that melts onto your lips, locks and seals in moisture with a cool mint glossy finish. So I think that I want to put this on while we're doing the other makeup, and then we'll take it off to test out the lip oil and then one other matte lip product. I did do a new makeup releases Monday video where I talked about this as a new release and said that I wasn't going to pick it up, that the jelly texture just looked kind of gross, but I caved and I did pick it up. So here is the cute little packaging. It looks like a little bundt cake. This is what it looks like. So let's just dig into there. Yeah, it's so weird. It has a cooling, a tingling sensation. It feels like Jello, really hard Jello that maybe you stuck in the freezer. It has that kind of consistency. It's hard, but it's still impressionable. I don't know how else to describe it. It feels very hydrating. I'm pretty sure I broke this off the top when I was trying to figure out how to open it, and that's not how it's supposed to be. It's a twist off cap, and now this really won't go back on. So let's go into a new foundation that I picked up. When I placed the order with Clarins for the lip oil, I did think that this looked really good. This was the Everlasting Youth Fluid. It says radiant complexion, boost luminosity, visibly firm skin, lift effect, let skin breathe. They say our foundations care for your skin, plant enriched, anti-pollution complex, and skin hydration. So it all sounds fantastic and things that I would love. Here is the bottle. It is glass. It does come with a pump. And I have done this in a haul video. It is a very liquidy formula. I took about that much, and I'm gonna apply it to this side of my face with just a sponge. It is so lightweight. It is such a liquidy formula. Very liquidy. Even more so than a lot of the skin tints that I have. So I took about half of what I pumped onto the back of my hand, and I've done this side of my face. Here's the side that I haven't done. Here's the side that I've done. Here are my first impressions on this. It is a very skin-like finish. It felt really hydrating. It is one of the lightest weight formulas I have ever tried. And I thought if you can see the difference in the line, you can see that it had a pretty good amount of coverage. I would say it's a medium coverage, and I would gather that it's probably buildable. I detect a fragrance in this, but other than that, I can't detect it on my skin. It doesn't feel like anything is there. It's that lightweight. So I'm gonna do another pump or half a pump and do the other side of my face. So that is it applied to both sides of the face. I would say this is a really nice feeling, nice finish foundation. When I look up close, I don't see it doing anything funny. It's sitting very well. It's not a heavy formula, so it doesn't look cakey. I applied a pretty even layer on both sides of my face. Very natural finish. This is definitely more coverage than I thought that this was going to give me, so I'm really excited. Let's move on into concealer. I placed an order with r.e.m. Beauty for a couple of items. I think one of them won Allure Best of Beauty, and so I went to their website and I placed an order. I don't know if I ended up picking up that exact thing, but I did pick up a good amount of stuff. So I picked up their Sweetener Concealer that has gone like pretty viral, and I never tried anything from them, but decided, all right, I'm gonna give the concealer a shot because it has pretty good reviews. So here's the component. It is glass, and it does come with this teeny tiny spatula, which I will not be using. I have swatched this, but here is the product. I am going to go in with my Rare Beauty concealer brush, and I'm going to dip directly into the product, and I'm going to tap it on my under eye. I'm just going to do one side right now and then spot conceal some of my blemishes, and then we will do the other side. I'm just going to go in and kind of tap that in with my sponge. So I've applied it to the right side of my face. I would say that this particular shade, which is in light to N, so it's light to neutral, is probably too light of a shade for me to spot conceal with, because I could tell right away that it was brightening my under eye when I was applying it. It is definitely a stickier formula, and it's like a thicker consistency. It's a pretty thick formula. Like, as you can see, it's not uncommon for a potted concealer to feel like this, be a little bit heavy, be a little bit tacky, and be a little bit more full coverage, but you can immediately tell that it's brightening, and so it's not a good shade for me to spot conceal with. Again, going back into my sponge and just kind of tapping this out. The other potted concealers that I really like are the Too Faced Sweet Peach one, and then I have one from r.e.m Beauty. But both of those I feel like are lighter weight than this one was. I did not have a nude powder, so I just powdered with the Bakerie Flower Setting Powder. I'm gonna go back in with my sponge and kind of tap off like the extra powdery finish. I love that powder. Bakerie isn't like super cheap. They do sell it in Targets, and I believe a couple of items are sold in CVS and potentially even Walmart. It's just not drugstore pricing. It's a little bit more expensive than like some cheaper drugstore products, but it's honestly one of my holy grails. I think I want to move into the eyeshadows. So I have two. I have the Glowing Iris and the Flowing Haze. They're both purpley, but they're different enough. I still feel like we have to use both of them. So here's the packaging on these. The complaint with the ones that they launched that were in these quads with a very similar style was that they had no shade name on them. So they did add a sticker back here. And this one is in the Color Story Glowing Iris, and this one is in Flowing Haze. I'm definitely going to use both of these, and I'm going to create one eye look with one and one eye look with another, where they say that you use this one in the upper part of the eye, this one in the crease, the outer corner, and then the shimmer on the lid. So that is what I'm going to do on the left side. Most of the brushes that I'm using today are just Morphe brushes. So I'm going to go into this lighter shade here and go all over the upper part of the lid. It is a very powdery formula. As you can see, there's quite a lot of kickback, so I would definitely tap my brush off on this. I do think that these two shades look pretty similar when you're looking at it in person. I think when I look back on the viewfinder, I can see a lot of variance between the two shades. I am going to try both just for the sake of trying both. I'm going to go into this shade next and go into my crease. I am finding that the shades are very similar, and so they are kind of blending together, which is kind of what I thought that they would do. So, I mean, that just kind of the nature of having a quad like this where the shades are so similar. So I'm going to take this shade now and deepen up the outer corner. And this is a really, really powdery formula. Kaleidos eyeshadows are very powdery, but they're also very creamy and pigmented. So because these are such a similar shade, they're looking like they're meshing in together. Here is the shimmer swatched. I'm so excited to put this on my lid. So I am going to place this all over my lid, and I'm just going to apply it with my finger. I did go a little bit higher above my lid, and I did go in with a little detailed brush so that I could kind of get like in the inner corner here, because I do have a difficult time getting into this eye very close to my inner corner. So I think that the shimmer is applied beautifully. Even though this is a really powdery formula, The one thing about Kaleidos is that I don't usually worry about applying my foundation first because I do not get a lot of fallout, surprisingly. I think we can even go in and do the lower lash line now. I'm actually going to take the lightest shade here and go under the entire lower lash line. I'm going to go back into that smaller detailed brush and I'm going to just put that shimmer in the inner corner a little bit more. Let's move on into the other eyeshadow palette. I'm going to use this shade here all over the lid. I'm going to use this next darkest shade here and go into my crease. And then finally, I'm going to go with this deeper shade in the outer corner. Okay, so now going back into the shimmer shade with my finger all over the lid. Just went in with the detailed brush. Okay, I think we will do probably this lightest shade all over the lower lash line. And finally, just back into the shimmer with the brush for the inner corner. All right, let's move on to bronzer. So I have an affordable bronzer. This is not new to the market. It's just new to me. This is the Hard Candy Instant Summer Bronzer. It says it's a natural powder bronzer with mango and cocoa butter infused with 2 times the skin softening butters. This is in the shade Toasted. I placed a pretty large order with Hard Candy. I have a lot of stuff to get through. The reason that I placed that order was for their hydrating primer, the one that's kind of like a dupe for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. And I think that it won in the steals category for Allure Best of Beauty, like drugstore primers for 2022. So I did pick that up, but I went and saw like all the other stuff that they sell. They have some really cute stuff. And I have been impressed with Hard Candy products in the past. Like the quality was always really good, the few products that I have tried. So I placed another order. This one was with it. So let's just go ahead and go in. It is just a powder bronzer. I'm going to use my Real Techniques brush. This is the 400. I don't know if this is meant for blush or bronzer, but it doesn't matter. Any powder product, I'm sure it would work fine for. I have swatched this before. It is a very creamy, very buttery formula. I think it's got a warmth to it, but it's not too warm for my skin tone. So I think this is a good shade. I think one of the comments that I made when I hauled it was that I thought it was a little bit light because some of the bronzers that I've been using lately are a little bit darker. They're still neutral toned and not as much warmth, but they are a little bit darker of a shade than this one. But I think this is a good powder bronzer. I love that it's just really easy to apply. Who doesn't like a good silky powder bronzer? Moving on to blush now, we'll go into the Fenty Beauty. This is the Double Cheeked Up Freestyle Cream Blush Duo. This is a limited edition. This was released for holiday along with a couple of other products, and it only comes in one shade in the duo. So this is Peony Droppa and this is Mally Booze. So I was actually a little surprised to see that this limited edition release only came in 2 shades. It's unlike stuff that Fenty would normally do. Usually her shade range is really good. I don't know if these are like the most flattering tones for every skin tone. Here are the swatches on this. This is the Peony one and this was the Molly one. So I think this one is probably too pinky for what I have going on my eyes. So I think we'll go into the Molly one today. And I'm just gonna take it on a sponge and pick it up and apply it straight to my cheeks that way. That's a really, really pinky blush, but I really wanted to try the new products that I had, and this was like a new holiday release. It was limited edition, so I thought I would try this one first. It's obviously, like, it's a good shade. It's just making me look crazy because I have this really bright blush on with this really, really purple eye look and 2 color eyeshadows. So anyway, but the way that it applied was really nice. It was easy to blend in. It was not complicated. I did set it down, but I don't think you have to if you didn't want to. It wasn't a sticky formula. So we'll see how long it lasts, but on first impressions, I like this, and maybe it's a different formulation than the original Freestyle blush, but it could be the same, and it just could be that I prefer the shade over the one that I had because I've only tried one shade previously. I'm just going to throw on a highlighter really quickly. This is the Profusion Mousse highlighter. This is the shade Sweet Whip. This is an amazing little highlighter. It was hauled in my lot of Profusion products, but it looks very wet. This is a really pinky shade. This does come in 2 different shades, and they do have one that is more champagne, but I picked this one up because it's like a shade that I don't have a ton in my collection, so I wanted to kind of add to it, and I'm really enjoying this highlighter. Let's move on into mascara. I'm going to use the Tower 28 mascara. I have used this on camera at least twice before. It's one of the plastic applicators. I believe this is called the MakeWaves mascara. Mascara is fully applied to the upper and lower lashes. I'm going to take off the Jelly Lip Melt now so we can move on into lip products. I'm like looking at myself and it's like a Dalmatian with just 2 different color eyes, but I think we had to try both palettes. All right, let's move on into a new brand, or a new brand to me. I saw this in CVS when I was walking through, and they had a really small display for this brand. It was called Luna Magic, but it was new to CVS. I'd never seen it there before. Let me know if you've seen this brand, you've heard of this brand, but this lipstick just looked so adorable. The small display probably only had like 5 or 6 different items, and then they had 3 of these lipsticks. They are a matte lipstick, and they only came in 3 different shades. This one was in the shade NYC. So here's the packaging. I mean, I'll be honest, like I absolutely bought this for the packaging. So it's one of those that you push, here's the side, and it comes out the other side. There is the swatch there. All of the shades that they had on display were very neutral. I'm just gonna go in without a lip liner. I did pick up 2 shades from the line, but I gave one of them to my daughter and she's been using it. She loves packaging. She's obsessed with packaging just like me. All right, let's go into the last product here, which is the Clarins lip oil. This is in the shade 08 and it is strawberry. Here's the packaging on this. I have used this one time when I was hauling it. I did put it on, and it's a large doe foot applicator. It gives a good high shine to your lips. I definitely feel like it tastes like strawberry, smells like strawberry, tastes like strawberry. It's really pretty. I don't know that it's like my favorite lip oil in the whole world. It is kind of pricey. It's either $24 or $27. I can't remember, but I will link all the prices and the links to everything down in the description box, so you will be able to see it. That is the full face of everything. So let's just do a quick wrap up of how I feel about each of the products. Let's go in order here. So the TONYMOLY, I would say, felt really hydrating. I think that it was gross when I was touching it, but it wasn't gross on my lips. I felt like it was a really thick formula and it just felt really good and hydrating. So I was pleased with that. The Everlasting Youth Fluid from Clarins, I really enjoyed. I thought it was like a really natural finish. I just loved the way that it looked on my skin. It didn't seem to like cake or do anything weird or sit across my nose funny like some foundations do. It was a lot more lightweight than I thought it was, but still offered a ton more coverage than I thought it was going to give me. I thought it was going to be a very sheer coverage. And then the concealer, I'm not really going to say anything that many people are going to like about this. The potted concealers that I do have, and I'm pretty picky about potted concealers, I really enjoy those too. The Too Faced Sweet Peach and the r.e.m. Beauty. They were both lighter in consistency than this was. I do think that this is probably a pretty full coverage concealer. I just see it creasing under my eyes and I set it immediately. It's just thicker than I really like. It's really just sinking into my fine lines and like creasing under my eyes right now. So I can't say that I really love this. I'll have to keep trying it. I'll try to apply it in different ways. Maybe just dip my finger into it and kind of apply it with my finger. Maybe I put too much when I applied it with the brush. But my first impression of it is that I don't like absolutely love this. And I can tell you it was in a shade too light to spot conceal with. So that's that. The Kaleidos eyeshadow palettes, I just love Kaleidos formula. So when they come out with color stories that I like, I always get them. It's not so much a review of the formula, as long as the formula is very consistent to their other formulas. It's more kind of a review of the color story. So what I can say is that I think the shades in here are just too similar on the eye, that they don't have a huge amount of like variation. I think you can create good depth between light and dark, but it's just more that you're like building up the outer part of your eye more than the inner part. I didn't see like a whole variation in kind of tone on the eye, but I think this one is very pretty. I don't wear purples very often, but it is a good purple palette and the formula is consistent to their other ones. I enjoyed this one, Flowing Haze, much more than I enjoyed the other one in Glowing Iris. I think that you have these brown tones that are more neutral and more everyday wearable, and I thought that I don't know, I just liked this purple shimmer a little bit more. It almost had like a base to it that was like a different color, so I just enjoyed this one a little bit more than the other one, but I thought they were both beautiful. The Hard Candy Instant Summer Powder Bronzer, really buttery, really liked the formula, it was very easy to apply. The Fenty Freestyle Cream Blush Duo, I did mention this already, but I thought that the two shades were probably not shades that would work on every single person for a limited edition release, where there was only 2 colors, but maybe I'm completely wrong. I thought the formula was really good. It applied very easily. It wasn't patchy. It wasn't difficult to pick up on the sponge. I wasn't picking up product with it and like moving it around. It was staying where I put it. So for that reason, I think it was really good, and I liked it more than the other Freestyle blush that I had tried or purchased and have had in my collection for like several years now. The Tower 28 MakeWaves mascara is really, really good. It's just a really clean formula. It gives volume, it gives length. It looks good on both the upper and lower lashes. I only apply 1 coat. It's really, really simple. This is a really good one. I know there's been like a wait list and a lot of hype around that product, but it, you know, if you don't have it and you're like a mascara junkie, it's such a good mascara. So when it comes back in stock, or if it is already, then you should definitely pick that up and give that a shot. The Luna Magic, I thought this was a really nice color. I liked the colors that came in this very small collection that they had in CVS. I think the packaging is absolutely adorable, and I thought the matte formula was very comfortable. I would almost say it was like a semi-matte formula because it wasn't overly drying. The Clarins lip oil, it's the pros and cons with this one. I think it's overpriced for what it is. I think that a lot of lip oils now are getting really, really expensive. There's just not a lot of product in them. I think it's pretty for a lip oil. I just don't know that it's like needed to win Allure Best of Beauty for what it is. I think there are a lot of lip oils on the market that are drugstore that are maybe better than this one. So I thought it was going to wow me onto the floor, and that wasn't entirely the case. So last but not least, I will mention the Profusion highlighter because this wasn't like new to me in this video, and it's not a first impressions, but I'm loving this highlighter. Very, very inexpensive. I just think that it's gorgeous. I did do this in my last video, but I kind of like tried to brush it away and it doesn't. It's a really long lasting mousse highlighter. I love this. I like the shade. I might even pick up the other shade that they have in this. Just a really affordable, really good, very glowy highlighter. So that was everything that I tried. Hopefully I don't creep you out with the 2 different eye looks, but I needed to try both of them. I wanted to be able to feature both of them today. It is time for me to go give my son a bath, so I'm gonna turn this off. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.